Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I did a major, I made a major mistake and well, I forgot to hit record, and now the continuity is gonna be all messed up. So we're just gonna, I don't even know what I'm to fuck it. We're just gonna create a new world, dude. 2 episodes in and I already screwed up. Hard, yeah, fuck. Nova, fuck it, Nova 2. That'll be the new name. I can't really continue off the continuity of the previous one. Anyway, we're beginning. Beginning. So, oh yeah, I changed my skin again. Behold. I like it. Anyway, so today's topic of discussion is going to be Neon Genesis Evangelion and its subsequent movie. So, first of all, what the fuck, like what the hell is Neon Genesis? Well, it's a sort of mecha show. That's pretty. It's a mecha show like anime centered around this boy named Shinji who pilots the mecha, right? And instead of it just being about like just piloting, instead of it just being about instead of it just being like just robots fighting monsters like your average mecha show is, right? Like Gurren Lagann. More on that a little later. um it's sort of like about the mental health of the pilots and like sort of everyone else. Like, yeah, there are mechas, but the main story is sort of about the mental health of like everyone else. Armadillo. Um, and it's crazy, right? Um, and I will say one thing: it is the series itself and the movie, right? It is very good. Like the endings are just insane. Like the show is good, but I would never watch it again. And I don't think I'd ever watch it again because it was really depressing and like really sad and oof, very heavy. Um, Now, well, so like, what are the good things, right? Well, first of all, other than like the story, for a change, from I guess this is from my own personal experience, right? I came into the show from watching Gurren Lagann, which is sort of like its opposite in a way, where like instead of it being really sad, it's really happy. And most of the shows I've also seen were like comedies and like just general funny stuff. And it was just really refreshing to see, you know, like just seeing like sort of like sadness and depression as it for a change, then just seeing happiness and just seeing like sort of like the characters' mental health like slowly, I guess, deteriorate, maybe like change. I don't know I don't know what word to use exactly, but seeing that was sort of refreshing in a way compared to what I'd just been seeing normally. I need to get food. Ooh, emerald. Um, yeah, that was good. And I also really liked the messaging at the end. At least the end of the anime, which I think to be the canon one, at least, where it's just like Shinji, where like the protagonist slowly realizes that like I don't have to see everyone as hating me. I can just see the world the way you know that makes me happy. I don't have to see the world in this depressing light. And then seeing like congratulations Shinji at the end was just really, it was pretty heartwarming after everything else that happened in the series. I'm not going to spoil too much. And oh my god, there's not a oh, there's some animals over there. It's gonna take a while. But yeah, I think I think it was. I think that ending was just pretty peak, and then the end of Evangelion, which was you know from what I know, I think it's the original vision of what Neon Genesis was supposed to be from like the perspective of the creator, right? From like the original vision of what the ending of Neon Genesis of the original anime was going to be. And damn, it was a heavy like just seeing them deteriorate even more than before. And then like the third impact, which was like the third impact was beautifully animated. Like wow. Um what else? Yeah, if you like, mecha shows and stuff and like, monsters, and like machines fighting with monsters or like big mechs fighting with monsters. If you like um that aspect, like I said, like Gurren Lagann, right? I would not recommend watching this. If you just like the whole like mechs fighting monster aspects, you might like it. If you liked anything else about like Gurren Lagann or something, you probably won't. Um, like if you like the whole happy stuff in Gurren Lagann and like the high energy stuff, then despite how similar they may look and how similar I thought it would be, like they are fundamentally different shows in many sense of the way. But yeah, um, I did hear that there was this sort of re-envisioning of Neon Genesis with like a different lens in a way where like I think it's like an alternate universe or something with like a different perspective on with like a different I guess take on what Neon Genesis was originally. I might actually get to watching that at some point if I get the chance, but as it stands now, probably not. Um, in total, I'd rate Neon Genesis about 90 out of 100. Um, I think it's really good. It was just a little too depressing for my taste. Mm. What else could I say? Yeah, and I another thing I'd also liked about the ending, right, of the anime was sort of how it was like in the mind of Shinji in a way. This isn't like any major spoiler for it, but you sort of see like in his mind there's like this, I guess ideal and or, good ending that could have been attained with just like how I say like this good ending with like there are like no mechs, no angels, no looming threat, no just no bad stuff, and it is interesting how it'd literally just be your average high school anime where it's just you know just a male protagonist going through high school life, and I did sort of and that was a thing I did find very interesting, and yeah, what else? Yeah, if I didn't already say this, like the whole think for yourself ending of the original Neon Genesis was something that I really liked about it. And I want that sort of be reflected with this channel in a way where like just because I say I like I like or dislike this one certain property, like don't let that discourage you from watching something you may want to watch. If you want to watch like oh like if you like well if you want to watch like Neon Genesis, like don't let me stop you from watching it. Just take what I say. Like don't take what I say as like the hard truth. Just sort of. Damn, there's not a village in sight. Yeah, like just sort of take what I say and just try formulate your own opinion. Is what I'm trying to say. And I also found it kind of interesting. And like while I was watching, I sort of like envisioned what like the sort of other oof like ending would have been like, where instead of everyone just being cold with each other, progressively showing themselves like what if they just tried talking to each other. I think that was another core element of like bit of the show, right? Where it's like sort of you kind of see how like you can envision how well or how much better things might have gone if they just bothered talking to each other and like going through all of it together. Because I mean, especially with like the three, with like all the Ava pilots, right? They're just a bunch of fucking high schoolers. Like they're some of the most mentally unstable high schoolers, forced to fight machines of mass fucking forced to fight in machines of mass destruction against beings that they don't even fully comprehend, and that the people who like hire them and assign them to like fight against don't even like barely even know anything about, with like supernatural beasts and stuff. And you sort of think like what would have happened if they just decided to like just talk with each other, and maybe things could have gone better. But yeah, in total, um, hmm, you know what? This doesn't seem like a bad place to set up shop. Well, I think it's gonna be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the whole, restart thing. I just genuinely didn't expect, but if you want to watch Neon Genesis, watch it if you'd like. Thanks for watching. Um, if you like what you see, subscribe, like. But for now, that's all. Bye.